Have you ever felt that some people dim your light without even raising their voice, that their mere presence disturbs your peace, drains your energy, and clouds your clarity? You try to stay calm, to be understanding, empathetic, but inside something stirs. You are not exaggerating. Your energy is sacred, and learning to protect it is not selfish. It is an act of spiritual self-love. In a world where toxic bonds sometimes disguise themselves as closeness, Buddhism offers us a profound truth. You cannot control others, but you can learn to protect your soul. Today, in this video, I am going to reveal to you 12 intelligent, compassionate, and deeply conscious ways to relate to difficult people without losing your center, without dimming your light. It is not about fighting. It is about elevating your vibration so that nothing and no one can drag you into chaos. Subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell, because this video is not just advice, it is a practice of inner freedom that can restore the peace you lost without realizing it. In a monastery nestled among the Australian mountains and mist, a young monk approached the oldest master of the temple with a furrowed brow. "Master," he said in an agitated voice, "there is someone here who always interrupts me when I speak, mocks my mistakes, and throws comments that wound me. Every time I see him, I lose my peace. What should I do with someone like that?" The wise master looked at him in silence for a few seconds. Then, with a calm voice, he asked, "Tell me, if someone tries to give you a gift and you do not accept it, to whom does that gift belong? To the one who offers it?" The young man replied. Somewhat confused, the master nodded. "The same happens with offense, humiliation, and provocation. If you do not accept them, they continue to belong to the one who delivers them." The young monk remained silent. But this time, it was not out of anger. It was because something deep within him had just been set free. The story of the young monk reveals a profound truth. What you accept affects you. What you release frees you. And when it comes to toxic people, those who criticize, manipulate, drain your energy, or pull you into conflict, this wisdom becomes an essential compass. It is not about hating or reacting. It is about consciously choosing what you give and what you keep. Because as the great masters of Buddhism teach, you cannot prevent someone from spitting poison, but you can decide whether you let it enter your heart. With that clarity in your soul, today I want to share with you 12 intelligent, conscious, and deeply transformative ways to handle toxic people from a Buddhist perspective. Not from war, but from wisdom, not from pride, but from inner peace. Take a deep breath. Open your mind and prepare to reclaim your energy and your center. Let us begin. 1. Do not take anything personally. One of the most liberating teachings of Buddhism says, nothing that another person does is because of you, but because of their own mind. This may seem simple, but it holds transformative wisdom. When someone criticizes you, ignores you, hurts you with words or attitudes, your first reaction may be to ask yourself, what did I do wrong? Why do they treat me this way? What do they have against me? But the truth is that most of the time it has nothing to do with you. What that person projects, their judgment, their anger, their disdain, speaks more about their own inner world than about your worth. As Zen monks teach, when someone throws poison at you, that poison was already living inside them. You merely revealed it. Understanding this is not excusing mistreatment. It is reclaiming your power. When you do not take anything personally, you stop absorbing burdens that do not belong to you. You stop engaging in battles you did not choose. And above all, you stop handing your peace to people who do not know how to care for it. Remember, a calm mind does not need to defend itself from every offense. A peaceful heart does not respond from the wound, but from awareness. This is how the art of handling toxic people begins. Not from reaction, but from the deep understanding that you are not responsible for their shadow. Your real work is this: choosing not to carry what is not yours. 2. Protect your energetic field. There are people who do not strike with words, but exhaust you with their mere presence. Conversations that seem normal, but leave you feeling drained. Environments that are not violent, but are heavy. And it is that beyond the physical, we are energy. And as Eastern traditions teach, just as you care for your body, you must also care for your subtle field. An ancestral practice, both in Tibetan Buddhism and in schools of energy healing, is to protect your aura before facing dense environments of people. And how is this done? With something as simple as it is powerful. Before entering that meeting, having that conversation, or seeing that person who unsettles you internally, close your eyes for a few seconds, breathe deeply, and visualize a sphere of white light surrounding your entire body. You can imagine it being born from your chest or from the crown of your head. It is a gentle but firm light. It is your protected energetic field. It is not fantasy. It is energetic intention and intention. When accompanied by presence and awareness, modifies your vibration. Visualization works like a clear message to the universe and to yourself. I am within myself. I am present. I do not absorb what does not belong to me. With this practice, you are training your energetic system to distinguish between what nourishes you and what contaminates you. It is not about rejecting the other with judgment, but about protecting your peace without the need for confrontation. Because, as a Tibetan master once said, not everything that enters your space deserves to stay. And you have the power to choose what you allow within you. Just as you close the door of your home to protect your rest, learn to close your aura to protect your energy. And the most beautiful part is that when your field is well contained, toxicity does not enter. It dissolves, not through struggle, but through vibration. 3. Do not react. Breathe. The Buddha said, breathe deeply and you will know how to act with wisdom. And it is not just a metaphor. At the exact moment when someone provokes you, challenges you, or throws a criticism disguised as a joke, your body enters a state of alert. Your heart races. Your jaw tightens. Your thoughts want to defend themselves. The ego wants to respond now. But Buddhism offers us a radically powerful alternative. Do not react. Breathe. Conscious breathing is not just air. It is the sacred space between the stimulus and your response. That second in which you choose, will I repeat the pattern? Will I allow their poison to enter me? Or will I breathe and regain control of my energy? When you breathe with full presence, your mind clears. Your frequency rises. Your body aligns. And your ego quiets. It is as if that air entered your soul and told it, You do not have to react to prove your worth. You are safe. Your silence is also a response. Most people respond from impulse, but the wise respond from awareness. And that difference is what transforms your energy into a serene, impenetrable force. Because whoever seeks to provoke you is looking for something, a reaction, a conflict, a crack in your peace. But when you do not enter that game, when you simply breathe, observe, and choose, their provocation is left without nourishment. And that is what most unsettles the other ego. That you have found in your breath a refuge stronger than any argument. So remember, do not defend yourself immediately. Do not explain what does not need justification. Breathe and let your wise silence respond for you. 4. Learn to say no without guilt. On the spiritual path, compassion is often misunderstood as people-pleasing. But the Buddha taught that true compassion begins with oneself. Saying yes when you truly want to say no is not an act of love. It is an act of self-abandonment. Toxic people do not always enter shouting. Sometimes they enter by asking for favors that are not yours to give, manipulating through guilt, taking advantage of your good nature. And if you have not learned to set boundaries, you can end up giving your energy to someone who does not honor it. From the Buddhist perspective, the principle of ahimsa, non-violence, does not only mean not harming others, it also means not harming yourself with silences that hurt. Not betraying yourself with promises you do not want to keep, not carrying burdens that are not yours, saying no clearly, calmly, and without guilt is an act of self-love and also a teaching for the other. Because your healthy boundary shows them where theirs is. Remember this. When you say yes out of fear of disappointing, you begin to live a life that is not yours. But when you say no from awareness, you become the guardian of your peace. You do not have to justify your boundary. Your energy does not need defense, only truth. So the next time someone tries to enter your space with manipulation, demand, or drama, breathe deeply, connect with your center, and say no with firmness and love. Because protecting your peace is not selfishness. It is wisdom. 5. Practice active compassion, not passivity. In the Buddhist view, compassion, karuna, is not synonymous with weakness. It is not allowing abuse. It is not silencing your truth so that the other does not feel uncomfortable. Having compassion is not letting yourself be trampled. It is understanding that the other may be acting from their pain, from their wounds, from their emptiness. But that does not mean you must become the container of their shadow. There is a great difference between feeling compassion and remaining trapped in toxic dynamics out of fear of appearing bad, harsh, or insensitive. Active compassion is looking at the other with understanding, but also looking at yourself with the same tenderness. It is saying, I see your suffering, but I will not carry it with me. I acknowledge your wound, but I will not let you wound me. Because if your compassion does not include you, it is not complete. The Dalai Lama expressed it with wisdom. Genuine compassion does not mean tolerating the intolerable. Setting boundaries from calm, stepping away without hatred, protecting your light is also a form of love. It is a love that does not shout or strike, but rises with dignity and says, up to here, out of respect for you and out of love for myself. When you understand this, You stop thinking that keeping your energy clean is selfishness and begin to see it as an act of spiritual clarity. So remember, true compassion does not make you more passive. It makes you more conscious. And sometimes the greatest act of compassion is saying goodbye before you break. 6. Do not try to change the other. At the heart of human suffering, there is a silent but powerful pattern. The desire for the other to be different. If only they were more aware, if they understood what hurts me, if they changed their attitude, we could be at peace. This desire seems noble, but in reality, it is a subtle form of attachment. Because when you cling to the idea that someone must change for you to be well, you are giving away your power. Buddhism teaches that the root of suffering is attachment. And one of the hardest to release is attachment to expectation. Accepting does not mean resigning yourself or justifying the unjustifiable. Accepting means understanding that you cannot control another person's evolution and that placing your peace in the hands of someone else's change is building on sand. As the Buddha said, you yourself must make the effort. The wise only show you the path. Accepting is saying, I can love you, but I cannot do your inner work for you. I can understand your pain, but I will not stay where I am hurt. True transformation does not occur when the other changes, but when you release the need for them to do so. From that inner freedom, you can choose with greater clarity, step away with compassion, set boundaries without guilt, or stay without suffering over what you cannot control. Because you are not here to mold anyone. You are here to cultivate your peace and be an example of what it means to live from awareness. And perhaps when you let go of the need to change the other, something magical happens. You free yourself. 7. Observe. Do not get entangled. In Buddhist practice, one of the most powerful pillars is the development of the witnessing mind. That part of you that does not react, does not get tangled. It simply observes with clarity and presence. When a toxic person enters the scene with their criticism, manipulation, or dramatics, your ego will want to defend itself. Your wound will want to react. Your mind will want to respond with the same energy. But there lies your spiritual opportunity. Imagine for a moment that you are the sky, and the comments, emotions, or behaviors of others are just passing clouds. Some are gray, others dense. Some bring storms, but you are not the cloud. You are the sky that contains them, vast, clear, and always present. When you practice conscious observation, you stop living on autopilot and begin to live from your center. You no longer react impulsively. You do not fall into provocation. You do not get caught in the other person's game. You simply observe from silence, from clarity, from an inner strength that does not need to defend itself to feel valuable. As the Buddha taught, there is no fire like passion, no trap like hatred. The wise one sees, and by seeing, is freed. So the next time someone tries to drag you into their emotional storm, do not respond from anger. Breathe, observe, and remember, you are not the emotion. You are not the provocation. You are the one who sees it and chooses not to inhabit it. That is true freedom and also the greatest power. 8. Do not explain your peace. Sometimes when you choose silence over conflict, when you decide to step away instead of justifying yourself, When you prioritize your calm over pleasing others, the world around you becomes uneasy. People who have not worked on their inner world may interpret your serenity as coldness, your distance as disinterest, your self-care as selfishness. But remember this deep truth of the spiritual path. You do not have to explain your peace to those who are still at war with themselves. Buddhism teaches that when a being awakens, the first thing they do is protect their energy, not from arrogance, but from compassion. Because true peace is not complacent, it is conscious. And that consciousness teaches you that your energy is not a bargaining chip, nor is your presence an obligation. Those who value you will do so without you having to justify your calm. Those who understand you will know that behind your silence there is wisdom. As a Zen proverb says, silence also responds. Distance also cares, and peace also sets boundaries. So do not feel guilty for not explaining your process to those who do not want to understand it. Do not wear down your light trying to illuminate someone who refuses to open their eyes. Your peace is sacred and does not need approval, only protection. Because when you choose to inhabit yourself, instead of explaining yourself, you become a sanctuary. And not everyone is ready to enter. 9. Choose your inner battles. On the spiritual path, it is not about winning arguments, but about preserving inner peace. There are moments when someone throws a criticism, a provocation, or a hurtful opinion, and your mind, almost by reflex, wants to respond, defend itself, correct, explain. But this is where the real practice begins. Is that battle truly worth your energy? Buddhism reminds us that not everything deserves a response. Because many times the impulse to react does not come from the soul, but from a wounded ego. Just as the ocean is not disturbed by waves, the wise person is not disturbed by empty words. Learning to choose your inner battles means asking yourself this question honestly. Do I want to be right? Or do I want to have peace? When you choose not to respond, not because you give up, but because you are at another level of awareness, you begin to honor what you value most, your energy. Not everything needs to be clarified. Not everyone is ready to understand you. Not every storm deserves your sun. And that is not weakness. It is mastery. The next time someone tries to drag you into a field of conflict, breathe and remember, your peace does not have to fight to exist. It only needs you to choose it. 10. Use absence as medicine. Many times we insist on being present where there is no longer listening, respect, or reciprocity. But Buddhism teaches us something powerful. Absence can also be an act of love toward yourself. Not everything is resolved by talking. Not every wound is healed through closeness. And not every bond needs more effort. Sometimes it only needs space, silence. When it is born from awareness and not from resentment, becomes a sacred medicine. A way of saying, here I step back. Not because I hate, but because I honor myself. In spiritual practice, distance is not always disconnection. It is a pause to breathe. It is a boundary that protects your energy. It is an elevated way of communicating. My peace is not negotiable. You are not punishing the other. You are reminding yourself that you do not have to stay where you do not flourish. As a Zen teaching says, the lotus does not stop being beautiful by growing far from the noise. It simply blooms in silence. The next time you feel worn down by a relationship, a conversation, or a presence, ask yourself sincerely, what do I need now, to insist or to step away with love? Remember, absence can hurt, but it can also heal, and in that silence, your true transformation often begins. 11. Strengthen your inner practice. In a world where everything pushes you to react, to rush, to defend yourself, returning inward is a revolutionary act. Buddhism teaches that a trained mind is your true refuge, and that strength is not built in the middle of noise, but through the constant practice of silence, mindfulness, and connection with your essence. When you meditate, you are not only closing your eyes, you are opening the door to your center, a place where hurtful words do not penetrate, where toxicity has no access, where your energy reorganizes, purifies itself, remembers itself. Conscious affirmations are anchors. They bring you back to yourself when the world tries to pull you away. Phrases like, "My peace does not depend on others. I am the owner of my energy. I choose to respond, not react. My light does not need validation." And if you add to these practices of energetic cleansing, such as the use of incense, salt baths, deep breathing, or light visualization, you begin to create an invisible but very real shield. Because a clear mind is not dragged away, and a peaceful heart does not enter into war. Every minute you dedicate to your inner practice is an investment in your freedom, a daily affirmation, a conscious breath. A moment of silence at dawn can change your vibration, your day, your life. And the stronger your inner world becomes, the more harmless the external world becomes. Not because the world has changed, but because you have changed the way you inhabit it. 12. Remember, you are not responsible for healing anyone. One of the most invisible and heaviest burdens many people carry in silence is the belief that they must heal others. We were taught that love is sacrifice, that if someone suffers, we must stay, that if someone is broken, we must cling to their pain in order to help them heal. But Buddhism offers us a liberating truth. Accompanying is not carrying. Loving is not forgetting your peace. You can offer a hand, but you cannot walk the path for another. You can light a lamp, but you cannot force anyone to see. You can embrace with compassion without becoming the container of their darkness. Each being has their own path of learning. And when you try to assume another person's inner work, you not only exhaust yourself, you also take away their opportunity to awaken on their own. Remember, your first responsibility is to yourself, to your harmony, your clarity, your energy. When you are in balance, you can inspire. But if you lose balance by carrying what is not yours, you only add more chaos to the world. Loving in a healthy way means knowing how to accompany without losing yourself, being present without losing your center. It means offering understanding without mortgaging your well-being. Because sometimes the most loving act is to take a step back and trust that the other person's soul will find its path when it is ready, and it is precisely there. In that act of releasing the responsibility to heal others, that your true spiritual freedom begins. Because when you stop carrying what does not belong to you, you begin to recover what was always yours. Your energy, your peace, your center. And now that you have listened to these 12 conscious ways of relating from inner wisdom It is time to integrate this message not only with the mind, but with the heart. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and repeat internally with me these conscious affirmations. Not as scattered ideas, but as anchors that bring you back to yourself. My peace is not negotiable. I choose to surround myself with people who nourish my energy. I say no without guilt, and I step away without explanations. I am light, and I deserve environments where that light is respected. Allow yourself a few seconds of silence. Let these affirmations be not just words, but a seed that begins to take root in your soul. Because when you affirm your peace, your energy begins to protect itself. When you choose yourself, the universe also begins to choose for you. And with that state of presence, we arrive at the closing. Today you remembered something essential. Dealing with toxic people does not require violence, but awareness and your inner peace, when well cultivated, is more powerful than any energy that tries to disturb it. If this message was valuable to you, I invite you to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs to remember their inner power. Tell me in the comments which of these 12 keys you feel you need to integrate most at this moment on your path. And do not forget where you cannot flourish. Silence and distance are also wise responses. Thank you for being here. See you in the next video. A warm embrace of light